G'day there guys, it's Connor here again, and we're back with some more stories from Reddit. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let me know if you're enjoying the new 40-minute video format thing. Anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Okay, well, on True Off My Chest, this one was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, I dumped my girlfriend over a joke, and I can't tell anyone or I'll look like a psycho. My 23 male, ex 25 female, and I were together for just under 8 months, and we clicked. Got along like a house on fire from the moment we met. We had a lot in common, from our morals to our goals to our taste in music. My family loves her, probably more than they do me. Mum wanted a daughter so bad she couldn't stand it growing up. 4 sons before she gave up. It was probably 3 months ago now that we had been on the couch while I watched a movie and she scrolled TikTok. Not a TikTok hate post, scrolling can be fun, I'm just more of a YouTube guy. Speaking of showing me videos, she showed me one of a man holding his son and dancing to a song. She laughed and said something about how good I would look as a dad, which was pretty weird considering, as far as I knew, both of us were child-free by choice. God knows I am. I tried to take it as a joke and mentioned that it was too bad, so sad, she would never know. I thought she would respond something about how there's nothing sad about avoiding it or something. She's never given me indication before this that she wanted children. And she started giggling, this evil giggle, and said something like, I don't know, it only takes one broken condom, in this sing-song voice that, I'm not even joking, gave me freaking goosebumps. The implication was clear in her tone, like she was making a joke about poking holes in condoms, to me, for real. I tried to laugh it off, but it made me so freaking uncomfortable. Like skin-crawling levels of skeeved the F out, and after that my sexual interest for her was entirely gone. It's like I processed her as a threat or something, to be entirely honest. My libido in general is entirely freaking gone, still hasn't come back. It feels like it's hibernating or something until the scary lady is gone. I know what you're thinking, why didn't you communicate? And I tried, a couple times, but when she said, oh my god, I was kidding you, big baby, but never denied that the joke was about that, I dropped it and stopped bringing it up. I didn't think it was worth the fight at that point, because while I still do care about her, a lot, I do not feel comfortable even going to sleep around her, and there's no way that's going to mesh with a healthy relationship. If there's no trust, there's no relationship. That's how I feel, right? So I broke up with her, and when I told her, I said it was because I really needed to focus on myself. Didn't see a point in telling her then, it would have just ticked her off. As is, she seemed to take it in stride, not angry or concerningly upset, so that's good. My family is more heartbroken than I am, and I haven't been great. They're begging me to reconsider, not that I would, especially considering there's no way in hell I'm telling them anything. My mother would be beside herself. Think grandchildren, please son, give me grandchildren. But more than that, I know even my dad, who doesn't even care about grandchildren, and recognizes that he's more likely to get them from my younger siblings, would call me out for overreacting. So they got the same story she did. It's frustrating because I know it's no big deal and a joke, but it had also been upsetting, or sad. I know I'm overreacting, but in the moment it felt like my only option, and I really don't want to take it back even if I am. I know you may think I'm paranoid, and I probably am, but I just could not stop thinking about it. After she told that joke, I think it was going to end one way or another, so I'm glad it ended on decent terms instead of trying to stay and fix everything until I hated her. Sorry, I'm talking a lot, but like I said, no one to talk to about this because being unreasonable in real life is like a criminal arrest, and I'm trying to avoid another of that particular black mark on my reputation. Anyway, off to research vasectomies because I will not be entering another relationship or becoming any kind of active with anyone until then. Haha. Yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like Opie almost said it himself. I feel like he thought that this relationship was going to be over inevitably anyway. I mean, think about it. If something like that is enough for you to end the relationship, then it wasn't meant to be in the first place, right? Let's go to some comments. One of the secrets in life is you can break up with someone for any reason. First of all, you are young, and relationships aren't always going to work out long term. Also, since you had such a strong reaction to the joke, it seems like the vasectomy route is going to be your best path going forward. I'm of the firm belief that if you don't want kids, definitely don't risk having them. You'll be okay in the long run. Stick by what's right for you. Get a vasectomy and go to the required checkups. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone or even have a valid reason to end a relationship. It's your life. It sounds like your reaction doesn't come only from this situation. It must have been built up somehow, because if you really felt safe with her, this joke wouldn't be a big deal for you. To me, it sounds like the reason you broke up was not because of the joke per se. It was more that you didn't trust her and felt comfortable, summed up from the many situations, and that this was the drop that made the water pour over. Yeah, I mean, all these people saying that you don't actually need a reason to break up, I'm kind of like, yeah, I see your point, but also I feel as though if you cared about that person and you're breaking up with them, then I feel like you owe it to them to at least, give an explanation. I feel like that's a bit more of a decent thing to do. Anyway, Opie answers some comments on his ex wanting kids and he doesn't. I was clear from the very beginning, and from what she had told me she was on the same page. I would have never dated her for 8 months if I thought she wanted kids, because I wouldn't want to waste someone's time like that. If she wanted kids, she could have just said so, instead of whatever that was. Opie on having commitment and or trust issues when it comes to having kids. I wouldn't say commitment, no, but to a degree, trust issues definitely. I think that's pretty clear from the post. I don't mean to be that way, but it doesn't feel fair to keep that kind of relationship going either. I don't want children because, as I tell my kid brothers regularly, I did my fatherhood time wiping their asses. They know I'm joking to a degree, but I think you catch the drift there. Edit, one thing I learned from this comment is that there's so many people on Reddit who don't curse and joke with their siblings, which just sounds sad. We're better than okay, and you ain't gotta worry about us. I couldn't say on the TikTok. It was just a dad dancing around the room with a toddler in his arms. It was cute. I don't think so. I felt pretty okay before the joke happened, and right after was when I just could not stop thinking about it. The reason I don't get back with her is because even if I am overreacting to the things I'm feeling, it's still what I feel, and I don't trust her anymore. I didn't really want to fight, and that wouldn't have made a difference. Opie on if he had to take responsibilities for taking care of his siblings. I'm the eldest, and the next oldest is 16. You would be correct that a lot of the reason I don't want children. My dad and I get along okay now, but my mum and I still fight about it a lot, because the way she sees it, it was my responsibility to take care of my brothers the way I did, and it's just the way things are. Apparently when I have kids, I'll know. My mother had been a stay-at-home mum, but I still remember each time she got pregnant, the way my list of crap would grow. By the time I was in middle school, I was in charge of the youngest two any time I was home, and if they got into anything or caused trouble, it was my ass that was grass, and mum's belt and dad's board with a lawnmower. Edit, I also want to defend my mother, just a little, or maybe why I haven't went no contact. The reason she thinks it's the responsibility of the oldest is because that's how she, an eldest sibling herself, was raised. On top of that, I do think that she suffered pretty heavily from PPD during this time. I don't think my mother is some heartless monster, or even a lazy parent. I think she was going through a hard time mentally and handled it the best she knew how, which was to lean on someone she shouldn't have, me. I just want to add this because this post has a lot of attention, and I don't want anyone to think poorly of her for something that was out of her control. I don't blame my brothers for any of this. Hell, we joke around about it. I still talk to and see them regularly, and we actually have a trip planned to go fishing out of state in a couple of months. I love them more than anything, so I get a little defensive when people start acting like they know anything about them or me. I know I should work on that too, but it's a problem. Rude people, man, they get to me. I know I should go to therapy, and I've tried, but there aren't many options without a wait list near me, so I'm kind of at a standstill. The fact of it is, even if the therapist changed my fears, I know what I want from life, and it isn't children. I've done my time changing diapers and such, and I really don't want to go back to that most miserable time in my life. Before anyone asks, yes, my ex knew all of this. Okay guys, straight to an update. Well, I never ever thought I would update, but I have one, lol. Like I thought I'd lost the password to this account and everything, but it was saved in the notes on my laptop. This isn't much of an update, but I can say that I did end up telling my friends more about the breakup, after I found out that my ex is trying for a baby with her new boyfriend, also her ex. Also, I wasn't stalking her to get this information. I live in a small town, and 2 of my friends came to me and told me. They said they didn't want me to find out from someone else, but I didn't really care, outside of the relief that now I was sure that she wasn't pregnant during the breakup, something that has been giving me nightmares. They calmed down. Apparently both of them thought I would react badly to the information and spiral or something. Whatever. I know a lot of people said I'd taken a joke and overreacted, was a cruel-hearted and evil misogynist trying to control her body and everything else, but this just confirmed to me that she was never joking. I mean, it's been a little over 2 months since the breakup, and she's trying to have a baby. I'm not angry at her anymore, not at all. In fact, I'm happy for her, because if this is what she wants, good for her. I just wish she could have told me sooner, so as not to waste either of our time. I've been working on getting a vasectomy, but as of now it hasn't happened yet. But as I mentioned in the last post, I won't be sexually or romantically active to any degree with anyone but my hand until that's completed. I think I'm lightly traumatized. This is a joke, you can laugh. What else? I'm thinking about getting a new dog. I have nothing else to add here, but thanks anyway. Now for some final thoughts on getting a vasectomy. Yeah, I explained it in the last post to a degree, but I didn't really get into my medical anxiety. I have it a lot, and even when I made my last post, I knew I was going to have to get one, because I realized trusting someone else with my future, no matter how trustworthy they may seem, isn't enough. I have never and never intend to have sex without a condom. Even after the vasectomy, and every woman I've been with sexually has expressed that they're also child-free and are on birth control of some kind. I'm not into taking chances. I wouldn't mentally be able to handle having a child, and I would be a terrible father. I knew it was my time to take it into my own hands after last time, but was still extremely nervous, to the point I was considering becoming celibate, just to avoid the possibility altogether. It was actually the men and wives of men on Reddit who reached out after my last post, and explained that they understood the nerves and they were natural, but that it really wasn't as scary or as painful as it sounds. I'm very thankful for that, because it helped me to get up the balls, no pun intended, to bring it up with my doctor and start the process. Some even gave me advice on how to deal with the healing process, which I have fully taken under advisement. I'm hoping that afterward I feel the same way they do, confused and frustrated with myself as to why I didn't do it sooner. Yeah, honestly, Opie's anxiety regarding having a kid is pretty extreme in my opinion, so yeah, I feel like a vasectomy is probably a good idea for this guy. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Alrighty, let's move on to another story. Okay, we're jumping over to relationship advice. This one was written by Throwaway Account, and it's titled, My boyfriend saved my friend, and now she fancies him. I spent the last hour debating whether to post this, but here goes. Trigger warning, SA. At a Halloween party earlier this year, someone tried to assault my friend while she was blackout drunk, and my boyfriend caught the guy in the act and stopped him. He got his mum to come get her and carried her to the car. His mum took her to his house, and she stayed in his room while he stayed out at a friend's. He then drove her home in the morning. My friend was heavily impacted by that, and hasn't come out in a while, understandably, but we've met her a few times to hang out and such. But since then, she's messaged my boyfriend just trying to chat almost every day. My boyfriend usually replies maybe once every 3 days. He's a notoriously bad texter. This did sort of bother me at first, but I thought, maybe talking to him is comforting to her after what happened, so I pretty much ignored it and didn't let it bother me. This is until yesterday. On Boxing Day, my friend group had a get-together at my friend's flat. We had some drinks, played party games, and did a Secret Santa. We agreed on a £100 limit on Secret Santa. My friend got my boyfriend and got him a £380 Balenciaga hoodie. We were all like, what the F? But she said it was just to say thank you. For the rest of the party, it felt like she wouldn't leave his side too. Again, I let this slide until towards the end of the night, another friend of ours pulled me to the side and told me that my friend had confided in her that she fancied my boyfriend and had done since the incident. Now I really don't know what to do. My friend went through something horrific and my boyfriend saved her, but now I don't know how to reinforce boundaries in my relationship, or if I even should. Geez, yeah, it doesn't sound like there's much you can really do about this, except maybe let your boyfriend know how you're feeling. Not sure. Let's go to some comments. A few things. First, good on your boyfriend and his mum. Proper heroes. You can't control your friend's feelings here. Likely she can't control them. Infatuations are like that, and he's given her a doozy of a reason to be infatuated. Your boyfriend needs to be clear that while they can be friends and confidants, he's with you. Romance is off the table, and big gifts make him uncomfortable. The bigger issue is beyond your ability to fix. She really needs to get some therapy to help manage the trauma and the resulting feelings, but coming from you, she could see it as jealousy and react poorly. This might be a job for a mutual friend to try to coax her into therapy. Hopefully, receiving help from a therapist will make her more receptive to rebuilding boundaries. Opie replies, "Yeah, I am very proud of him. My issue is that my friend has only recently started coming out again and only ever comes out if my boyfriend is going to be there. I worry that by saying something, it will put her in a position where she'll shut herself off, which is the last thing she probably needs." The commenter types again, "I understand, it's a complicated situation with a ton of potential pitfalls wherein someone can be hurt. Above all else, your friend needs therapy. Right now she's forming unhealthy attachments. It's all very understandable, but it's unhealthy and it's causing problems for you and the boyfriend. I worry that you're right. If it comes from you, she may react even more poorly. Maybe the boyfriend can nudge her to therapy, maybe mutual friends, but someone has to. In the meantime, you, or probably your boyfriend, will have to try to re-establish boundaries in a gentle way. Talk to him and try to work out an approach. Maybe he shouldn't spend time with her unless you're around. A gentle reminder for her. But again, she needs therapy. You and your boyfriend might talk to a therapist too. I'm not suggesting you need it, although I view it as an overall positive, but a therapist could help you find a way forward that both helps your relationship and helps her mental health. I don't know." Opie replies, "Do you have any ideas of how to go about getting my friends on side to convince her to get therapy? I don't want to feel like I'm pushing into her boundaries or try to tell her how to heal, but at the same time, I can't do nothing because it will lead to me resenting her." Another comment says, "Opie, I understand she's your friend and I truly admire your compassion and empathy. However, she is doing something unfair to you, her friend that cares so much about her. If you want my opinion, put yourself first. Clearly express to her that this bothers you and it's disrespectful. If you feel uncomfortable having a direct confrontation, I would advise you to take some distance from her. Your boyfriend should also do that. Just stop seeing her and maybe even talking to her. I also know it's unfair to ask that of your boyfriend, but maybe it would even be best to return the gift to her. This kind of thing needs to be shut down fast, or it will keep growing." Opie says, "It's just hard because I feel partly to blame, as I was supposed to go to the party with her and meet my boyfriend there, but cancelled last minute due to really intense cramps, so I feel like the least I can do is help her through this however she needs." A bunch of comments tell Opie to tell her boyfriend, "Yeah, I haven't even told him yet, but I don't want to make him feel awkward or anything, as I wouldn't want what's happening now to affect any decisions he'd make in the future. And by react in a negative way, I mean in the sense of hesitating to help someone in the future or something. I don't feel like he'd cheat on me, I just don't want him to have to worry about anything." Righto, onto an update, let's see what happens. So following the advice of the majority of responses, I told my boyfriend and we agreed he should sit her down and talk to her. He invited her out to Starbucks to talk about how she feels, but now I fear the situation is worse. My boyfriend told her gently that he understands how she feels and is grateful, but he doesn't feel the same. He also told her that her emotional response to him is just trauma bonding. She refuted this by claiming that she had feelings for him long before the incident, back when they first met, but never acted on them. That she only said that her feelings came after the incident so that people wouldn't judge her or hate her. My boyfriend told her that he wasn't interested regardless, and she said that's fine, but her feelings are real, and she has a right to speak her truth. When I tried to talk to her, she didn't even apologize, and said that she won't feel guilty for something out of her control. I feel totally lost because now this feels like so much more of a betrayal than before. Any help would be appreciated at this point. I just feel sick. Edit to add, she also admitted that she didn't originally even get his name in Secret Santa, that she found out someone else had it and asked to swap so she would be buying his gift. Oh, okay, yeah, well that changes things. Let's go to some final comments. Although she's right, her feelings aren't in her control, her actions are. By actively pursuing your boyfriend, knowing you're together, she is way out of line. At this point, as much as it may hurt, I would cut her off. The fact she couldn't even apologize is proof that she no longer has remorse or guilt for what she's doing. Not worth the headache, Opie. No way. Opie replies, "I just can't believe she would be so remorseless to someone she's had a 7-year friendship with. I'm just speechless. I don't even know what to say to her." And another comment says, "If this is very unusual behavior for her, then this might be a trauma response. Regardless, she's a danger to your relationship and a bad friend. It's time to distance yourself from her and tell the mutual friends that she's been openly pursuing your boyfriend, which both of you don't want. Start to document what she's doing, in case she escalates and you need to file for a restraining order. She's developing obsessive behavior, and it might get worse. And Opie replies, "It's super unusual, which is why I'm so confused on how to act. She's never been the type of girl to go near a guy in a relationship before, and has even turned guys down based on them having girlfriends she didn't even know. Me and my boyfriend think in her mind she sees this as a girl boss sort of moment where she's finally going after whatever she wants, and good for her, but I just feel she shouldn't do it at my expense." Yeah, she absolutely shouldn't, in my opinion. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Okay, this story was posted on multiple subreddits. It's written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, "Am I the a-hole for bringing my girlfriend on a date to my daughter's workplace?" I, 51 male, have been dating my girlfriend Millie for just over 6 months. My wife died 4 years ago, and this is my longest relationship since. However, my daughter Bianca, 21, disapproves. She has a lot of issues with me and Millie, but the main ones are the way we met, through a website, and that I moved Millie into our house fairly quickly after 3 months. In my defense, losing my wife much earlier than I'd ever imagined really taught me to seize and enjoy each moment, and it just felt right to both of us to have Millie there with me permanently. 2 months ago, Bianca and Millie got into a dispute over our spare room, which Bianca uses as a music space, but Millie wanted to convert it into a shooting space for social media, which is her job. I took Millie's side since she's going to be here longer term, so Bianca sped up her plans to move out the next week and asked that I warn her if Millie's going to be present at any event or visit. Anyway, last week I thought it would be nice to treat Millie for her birthday, and she asked for a shopping trip and dinner out, which I was happy to do. The issue is, she specifically asked to go to a restaurant where Bianca works as a waitress, since it's known as one of the most exclusive and classy places in our town. I knew Bianca was working that day, but figured it would be alright since it's a large restaurant and a special occasion. When we arrived, we were given another server, so I thought everything was okay. About 15 minutes later, Bianca walked out from the kitchen and immediately saw us sitting there, then walked straight back without even saying hi. She kept passing the table and silently glaring daggers at Millie, which was just unnecessary when Millie tried to be polite. Millie then asked Bianca for the bill, because she was the nearest waitress, and Bianca slapped it down on the table wordlessly, then sent another waitress to see us out. Later, I called her and asked why she behaved like a child. Bianca said that me and Millie had been deliberately flirting to upset her, which is untrue. The most that happened was a couple of kisses and a bit of footsie and giggling. Bianca also claims that when I briefly left to use the toilet, Millie called her over and told her not to contact me for the next few days, as we would be too busy engaging in, quote, private activities. I find it hard to believe Bianca, because Millie has made an effort to bond with her through organising girly activities, among other things, while Bianca has a history of manipulating others to get her way. Bianca then told me she wants no contact with Millie or with me, apart from at family gatherings. My family is split over the issue, and my ex-wife's sister called to cuss me out for neglecting Bianca, who is still grieving her mother. Am I the a-hole? I understand that Bianca and Millie have their issues and Bianca misses her mother, but Bianca was at work, and I think she should have been more professional. I don't know, man, this just sounds like OP prioritizing his new girlfriend of a few months over his own daughter. It's not right. Let's go to some comments. Obvious troll. You tried way too hard to be villainous, OP. I'm pretty surprised this hasn't been deleted yet. At the risk of getting my comment removed for not being civil, my rating is you're the a-hole. This part in particular stands out. Quote, I thought it would be nice to treat Millie for her birthday, and she asked for a shopping trip and dinner out, which I was happy to do. The issue is, she specifically asked to go to a restaurant where Bianca works as a waitress, since it's known as one of the most exclusive and classy places in our town. I knew Bianca was working that day, but figured it would be alright since it's a large restaurant and a special occasion. One would have to be devoid of both empathy and sense to knowingly bring your hated girlfriend to the restaurant where your daughter works. There's no room for mistake or misunderstanding there. Anyone who would purposely do that to their own kid is a major a-hole. You're the a-hole. You could withhold from playing footsie while in your daughter's workspace. You could have waited and asked any other waitress for the check. You could have waited and gone a different day when the daughter wasn't working. Your daughter was living there, and you're moving in a new woman after 3 months and replacing her room she was currently using. You could have waited until she moved out. I'm also really curious to how old your new girl is. You're the a-hole. You've behaved awfully to your family for a random you've known for 6 months. Get a grip, dude. Now Opie's daughter posts in the comments. Hey everyone, this is Bianca talking. After I saw the Twitter thread made with Dad's post, and my roommate encouraged me to make an account to at least try to defend myself, I hope at least some of you hear me out, and thank you to the very kind Twitter peeps who are looking out for me. Appreciate it, guys. And I'm fine. What my dad says has grains of truth, but is so far from the full story, it's basically bullcrap. My mum did die when I was 17, and me and Dad were actually very close. He started dating again a couple of years after she died, and I was always very supportive, until Millie came along. Regardless of what Dad says, me and Millie had an emotional relationship lasting several months, which ended in a massive bust-up and us losing contact, and he was aware of this when I told him I recognised her. He brushed it aside and told me I would get used to it and we would be introduced gradually. I was stupid and believed his crap. He moved her into the house without asking me, while I was visiting Mum's family for the week. She did not try to bond with me. She used our shopping days and trips as an excuse to get money off Dad for herself. She cried and begged Dad until he got rid of my music room, and he fell for it. I asked them not to be intimate when I was around because I was uncomfortable. They ignored me. Millie and Dad have since tried to contact me regularly and have shown up in unexpected places. They showed up at my church. They've apparently visited my work and asked my friends if I'm there. They've even tried messaging me to ask when I'm visiting Mum's grave and if I want them to join. They are despicable people who deserve to be cut off. I would love to hear Dad's explanation of why I'm manipulative. Until then, thank you so much to everyone looking out for me again, and just don't believe any of the crap in this thread, other than the crap about liking young women. That's probably true. Wow, what, so Millie and the daughter had a relationship before the dad was involved? That's crazy. I mean, how old is this woman? I can't help but feel like Opie may have purposely omitted her age just to make himself look better. Okay, now Opie makes a separate post titled, "Am I the a-hole for bringing my fiancé to my daughter's wedding?" I, 52 male, have a daughter Bianca, 23, who got married last week to her wife Efru. They'd been dating just under a year and decided to have an intimate wedding with me and about 20 other guests. Bianca does not get along with my fiancée Millie, 29. Bianca has no contact at all with Millie and refuses to come to our house and has been quite low contact with me for the last year or so because of an argument she had with Millie. As expected, Bianca did not invite Millie to the wedding, but invited me as a guest. Millie said she did not mind if I went without her, which I thought was very gracious in the face of rudeness. However, we recently found out that Millie is a few weeks pregnant with our first child, and she's been anxious and having panic attacks all the way through her pregnancy. The morning of the wedding, I found Millie crying on the sofa and literally shaking. I asked what was wrong, and she said she felt very panicky and unsafe alone. I offered to stay home since she was so ill, and I was worried about her, but she insisted I go to the wedding. I was too concerned to go without her, so I messaged Efru, informed her of the situation, and that Millie would be coming with me in case she had a medical emergency while I was away. Efru did not respond until we were already dressed up and halfway to the venue. Efru told us that Millie was not to set foot at the wedding, but at that point I had no other option and I wanted to be there for Bianca. It did not go well. Bianca did not speak to me the whole way through the wedding and kept giving ugly looks to Millie. At the reception there obviously wasn't a place set for Millie and an extra chair had to be squeezed in. Bianca and I cut some food and fed her off my own plate, so I did not think it was a big deal. Efru came to me after dinner, said that Bianca was not doing a father-daughter dance with me, and gave me a list of complaints. She said she was disgusted by Millie's dress because it was red, and that Millie was wrong to introduce herself as stepmother to Bianca, and that Millie should not have mentioned her pregnancy at all. Millie only mentioned her pregnancy because she was offered a little cake, and cake makes her sick because of the pregnancy hormones. Efru told us to leave after dinner, and I agreed, so I did not upset Bianca. However, when Millie stood up, her stomach cramped and she fell over. It only made a tiny scene, but I rushed her out and we sat in another room for 20 minutes until she felt better. Ephra's mother came in at that point while I was just calming Millie down and made us get out. Since then, Ephra and Millie's maternal family have been sending me angry messages about how rude we were, and Ephra has told me they want no contact for the foreseeable future. I really meant well, and I just wanted to make everyone happy. But am I the a-hole? Yeah, bro, you're the a-hole. I mean, it's your daughter's wedding and you're making the entire day about you and your wife, or girlfriend or whatever. Not to mention the fact that this person is the ex of your own daughter. I mean, is Opie just going to ignore that fact every single time he makes a post? Let's go to the comments. You're the a-hole. Bianca hates Millie and wasn't invited, but you brought her to her intimate wedding anyway. Are you stupid? Millie sounds awful. She guilted you into taking her, wore an inappropriate outfit, mentioned her pregnancy in an attempt to upstage your daughter, introduced herself as Bianca's stepmom despite only being 6 years older than her. Finally, she caused a scene to draw even more attention to her pregnancy. You ruined your own daughter's wedding. Extra a-hole creep points for marrying a woman half your age and starting a replacement family. You're the a-hole. You not only brought a guest that was purposely not invited, you expected your daughter to be good with it. And you think your fiancé's panic attack was a coincidence? She was making you choose. Info, what was the argument about between your daughter and fiancé? Also, it pains me to see just how utterly clueless and entitled the men are who date and marry women around the same age as their children and just expect them to be cool with it. You're the a-hole. Your soon-to-be wife played you like a fiddle. She did everything on purpose. You don't announce a pregnancy at someone's wedding. Everything was a calculated plan against your daughter, and you totally chose your new family over her. And now for another separate, final post from OP. I married my long-term fiancée, now wife, Millie, last week. We have a child together, 9 months, who I will call Penny, and I have an older daughter with my ex-wife, who I'll call Bianca. Millie and Bianca do not see eye to eye, and Bianca has been very low contact with me for the last few years as a result of several disagreements between the two. These stemmed from Millie moving into my house and taking over a room Bianca used as a music studio, and Millie taking ill at Bianca's wedding, which Bianca perceived as Millie trying to steal the spotlight. Bianca has only met her little sister 2 or 3 times, and always insists on meeting her outside my house, with my wife not present. After my ex-wife died, I kept her wedding ring, engagement ring, and other bits of jewellery. Bianca immediately inherited some of the jewellery, and I kept other, most important bits back, including the wedding and engagement rings, without telling Bianca. When Millie was pregnant with Penny, I revealed to Bianca I had her mother's engagement ring and offered it to her if she would come to the baby shower and participate in our family. She turned me down, refused to come to the shower, and has never expressed any interest in her mother's other jewellery since. I had not directly told Bianca I had her mother's wedding ring, but she also never asked. So I decided that, since Bianca had decided to turn down the promise of the engagement ring, she would not be too fussed about other jewellery. My ex-wife's wedding ring was very beautiful with a very distinctive stone, and I liked the symbolism of my former and future wives being connected, so I asked Millie whether she would like to use the ring. She was absolutely delighted as she loves the ring, and agreed. So I invited Bianca to the wedding and she eventually agreed, with the promise of not being in any family photos and not having to attend the reception. I thought this was a good compromise that would allow us to rebuild the relationship slowly. There was an argument when Millie refused to invite Bianca's wife as the wedding is in a Catholic church, but I calmed Bianca down and agreed to sit her with her grandparents and aunts at the ceremony. Millie was absolutely delighted that Bianca agreed to come, as she really wanted to start to build bridges and reconcile. Bianca attended the wedding and all went well until it came to the exchange of rings. As the rings were presented, Bianca must have recognized Millie's ring and simply stood up and walked out of the church. We did not realize she'd left until after the ceremony, and Millie was absolutely beside herself. It completely ruined the ceremony. She was drunk and cried the entire night. She's become extremely depressed and does nothing but lie on the sofa. I tried to contact Bianca that night and managed to get through to her wife. She called Millie a B-word and a manipulator who stole Bianca's heirloom. This is not true. I have since been blocked by Bianca and her wife, and this has completely ruined the memory of our special day. I do plan to check on Bianca's well-being at some point, but in the meantime, was I wrong? I mean, you ruin your own daughter's special day, she ruins yours. Seems fair to me. Also classic the way that Millie made it all about herself again after Bianca stormed out. I don't know, I just can't empathise with Opie and his wife here. Let's go to some final comments. That vague bit about Bianca and Millie having had an emotional relationship before Millie met the father, please tell me I'm not alone in wondering if this creep is engaged to his daughter's ex. Edit, I just found a comment from the father on an installment that wasn't included here. Apparently, he refuses to acknowledge Millie as his daughter's ex because women can't penetrate each other, so it doesn't actually count. I regret learning how to read. Quote, however, when Millie stood up, her stomach cramped and she fell over. It only made a tiny scene, but I rushed her out, and we sat in another room for 20 minutes until she felt better. How much do you bet that that was deliberate? What is it with fathers like this and having a complete and utter disregard for anyone who isn't banging them? This man seems so much more concerned with what his daughter's potential ex, who is more than 20 years his junior and who he's known less than a year, is feeling, rather than the child he raised. It's just frickin' shameful. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What are your thoughts about that one? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's all from that story, and we'll move on to another one. Okay, we're jumping over to Petty Revenge. This one was written by user CharmingUniversity98, and it's titled, Roommate stole from me, so her wallet vanished. Back in college, I had better credit than my 3 other roommates, so I put our TV and internet under my name, otherwise the deposit would have been $600. The cable company offered me a $300 Visa gift card upon sign-up. 2 months later, I called them because the gift card never arrived. They tell me they sent it a few weeks ago, and eventually I'm able to find out from Visa that someone used it at the Whataburger, Target, and liquor store near my house. I'm ticked off because obviously one of my roommates has used it, but I didn't know which one. A few weeks later, roommate number 2 complains that their $200 birthday gift card to Target has gone missing. His mum still had the receipt, and the store was able to tell her that someone used it at the Target near our house. He's obviously ticked off too, but we've now realised it's probably one of the other 2 roommates. A couple weeks after that, roommate number 3's wallet disappears. We turned the house upside down looking for it, and we knew it had to be in the house because her car key is attached to her wallet, and her car is parked at the house. She is absolutely frantic, sobbing, screaming, hyperventilating, etc., throwing crap everywhere and just having an absolute meltdown while tearing the house apart. We have never seen her behave like this, so we're all kind of surprised she'd be that upset about her wallet. It's stressful, sure, but I genuinely was concerned about how she was reacting. She says the gift card thief must have taken it, implying it's roommate number 4, the only person who hasn't had something stolen yet. A few days after that, I found her wallet in the trunk of my car. We had gone to get groceries together, and I guess she'd just laid it in the trunk while we were unloading. I'm like, holy crap, I found her wallet. And then I open it up because I'm just excited to confirm that I did indeed find her wallet. Bam, both stolen gift cards front and center, no doubt. The Visa gift card has my name printed on it, and roommate number 2's mum had written something in Sharpie on his gift card. I realised she had a meltdown because she was afraid we'd find out she was the thief. I left the wallet, cash and all, right where it was, pushed up against the inner lip of the trunk so you couldn't see it unless you leaned farther into the car. A locksmith wouldn't make her new keys without the title, and the title was in the glove box of her locked car. All in all, she spent about $500 replacing her DL, title and keys, not to mention not being able to drive her car for 2 weeks. I moved out of the state with her wallet still in my car. I finally tossed it in the trash several months later. Sometimes the universe assists you with petty revenge. Yeah, that was pretty good. And the way she was like trying to blame it on someone else when she was looking for her wallet? God, who does that? Okay, Opie makes a last edit. Holy cow, I did not expect this to take off. Sorry if you see this, Chelsea, it was me. This happened 10 plus years ago, and I'm happy to report that we've all gone to therapy since then, and are thankfully no longer terrible human beings. A couple things to address. 1. Why didn't you confront her? I hated confrontation, was a huge people pleaser and wanted everyone to like me, and enjoyed watching her suffer. Again, therapy. I'm thankfully no longer like this. 2. Visa gift cards don't have names. Google Comcast Visa promo card real quick. The Target gift card itself said happy birthday, and my friend's mum wrote, to my favourite son underneath. It was still semi-legible when I found her wallet. 3. Locksmiths don't make car keys. Apparently some do. In the end, she had her car towed to the dealership. I do remember she called the locksmith the first day her wallet was missing because she initially thought the wallet was in her car. She was super mad that the locksmith charged her for the weekend visit without actually unlocking her car. Was he taking advantage of a stupid college girl? Maybe. This was over a decade ago. I was 21 and I'm sure my vodka-addled brain did not fully absorb the details of her whole ordeal. And 4. Turn her into the cops. Bro, have you met college students? Do you know how much illegal crap they do? It briefly crossed my mind, but petty revenge was far more satisfying. She had an absolute meltdown and missed a few days of work at a newish job dealing with all of this. Alrighty folks, and that's the end of that story. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Anyway, that's it from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.